Making magic. His basketball days behind him, superstar Magic Johnson is now busy scoring points in the world of business. Here's what he thinks, what he wants, and how he's going to get it. It's all in the moves. Under pressure, Irving Magic Johnson is known for seeing the open shot and taking it, risking big to win big. He thinks like a champion. But now he's in a whole new league. The former Los Angeles Lakers star wants to be more than a former Los Angeles Lakers star. He wants to be an American's most valuable entrepreneur, a big man with a huge ambition. Johnson wants, in his own words, to build, build, build. Although Johnson was the first active NBA player to become a league license and one of the original athlete entrepreneurs with his own t-shirt licensing business, the man who learned balance sheet analysis from former Walt Disney Company president Michael Ovitz wasn't content with the typical sports business connection for long. Johnson's first major move came via Magic Johnson Theaters, which he started in 1995 in partnership with Sony Retail Entertainment. His goal was to create top of the line entertainment experiences for Baldwin Hills, Crenshaw, California. Moviegoers, his vision was to revitalize this underserved community. His result was a theater complex that's one of the highest grossing in the nation. Meanwhile, Johnson is taking no time out. He continues to open theaters, entertainment complexes, restaurants, and retail license centers in underserved communities nationwide. He has also opened theaters in Atlanta, Detroit, Houston, and has plans for new ones in Chicago, Cleveland, New Orleans, New York City, San Diego, Washington. His latest foray includes a joint venture with Starbucks CEO Howard Schwartz to develop Starbucks in an inner city and urban location throughout the United States. The purchase of a majority stake in Los Angeles-based Founders National Bank with Janet Jackson star and record industry executive Gerald Busby and stab at a television with the Magic Hour, the late night talk show that, as of press time, he was scheduled to begin hosting in June. How has Johnson mastered his crossover success from a sports figure to entrepreneurial whiz to entertainment Mongol? Actually, there are not too many surprises up Johnson's well-cuffed business sleeves. He relies on research, connections, instinct, and customer service. Like any entrepreneur, Johnson prepares, strategizes, and acts. But once in a while, he takes a breathtaking shot that comes directly from magical, instinctual place in his core, and he'll make it. Entrepreneur, because you're Magic Johnson, obviously you do not have to run these businesses. Why do you? Irving Johnson. If you look at most of my businesses, they're in the inner cities, and that's where they need to be. People in those communities deserve to have them, and they supply jobs for people who live there. And it makes good business sense. So when you have this combination of things, then it's just the right thing to do. Entrepreneur. You have said it's important to help the community, but the number one goal here is to make money. This is not a charity. How have you managed to sacrifice your profits? How have you not sacrificed your profits for the sake of giving back to the community and vice versa? Business is business. You have to understand that and have that attitude. If it were just about charity, the business side would not last long. But if you understand you're building this Starbucks or this theater because of business, you can also give back to the community. Then I think it becomes a win-win situation for everybody. When you first started, did you have any problems with people in the corporate world not taking you seriously as an entrepreneur? Well, yes, of course, because it's that tag that's been put on athletes for a long time that we're not serious about business. So in the beginning, people didn't take me seriously, but they found out I was a persistent guy and that I really believe in my dreams. I believed that I could make them money as well. It could be a viable business deal for both of us and be good for the community. So once Sony saw that, they said, okay, if you believe in it so much, then put your money where your mouth is. Haha. You mentioned persistence. Is that something that not only helped you in your basketball career, but has translated into your success in business as well? Johnson: oh yeah, without a doubt. You have to be persistent in business, especially for me, because, like I said, doors didn't just open right away. I almost had to kick them down. I had to keep coming back, because many corporations were not going into the inner cities like they are now. The theaters were like a test model, and that is why now I have the other deals, because we proved it can happen and it can work. What did you say to these large corporations to convince them to go into these areas? Johnson: they knew they were missing a market. African Americans make up more than 30% of all movie going business. So it wasn't like African American were not going to the movies. They always have. It just that there were no theaters in our neighborhoods, and Sony recognized that. It's the same thing with Starbucks. We'd drive anywhere to get a cup of Starbucks, but now we have it in our own communities, and that's why our company number have been so high. Corporations just didn't know how to go about breaking into the market. What do you look for in advisors? People who don't need money, laughs. People who have done well for themselves. That's what that's why I went to someone like Michael Ovitz, who's a mover and shaker, a guy who's smart and who knew how to connect me with the right people. The best thing he ever said to me was to pay the best people, because you can get either pay them now or you can pay them later. If you're the best, you have to go to the best. And that's always what stuck with me. If you want to hire a lawyer, an accountant, hire the best. One of the pieces of advice from former Warner Brothers record president Joe Smith gave you was to be careful with whom you trust. Do you follow that advice? Oh, yes, I follow that advice. I don't trust too many people. So that advice has served you well. Yes, very well. It sounds as though it's not just you, Irvin Johnson, who makes up Magic Johnson, but an entire team behind you. Well, Magic Johnson makes up Magic Johnson. I've got a team of people who work for me and advise me, but I can call my own shots. That's one thing about me. I'm my own businessman. I'm my own person. The team I built taught me how to get into business, how to run a business. They gave me the knowledge I needed to have, but now I'm on my own. If you ask Howard Schultz, if you ask the Sony people, they'll tell you I make my own deals. Everybody knows they have to deal with me. If someone new to business came to you today, what advice would you offer? Research your idea. See if there's a demand. A lot of people have great ideas, but they don't know if there's a need for it. You also have to research your competition. You have said, Magic Johnson, theaters work because you do your homework. What do you mean by this? First of all, I had to know the number of moviegoers was high among African Americans. I had to do the demographic work and know how many people living in the area could support that theater. Also, I have to keep track of how many people come in daily and know what our customers like to eat. It's all a process, and I stay on top of it. Entrepreneur. Even though you said you don't trust too many people, you decided to trust this community that few others trusted. But that was easy. What did you see that others didn't? Well, I'm from there. When you grow up with these people and see them every day, you then look to, you know, when you grow up with these people and see them every day, and then you look at the numbers, it was easy. It was a no-brainer. And when Sony took a look, it was a no-brainer to them too. You've said you've built the theaters to answer one of the pressing needs in urban areas. It seems the traditional method of answering pressing needs to start a social program, but you decided to offer a medium of entertainment. What was the reasoning behind your decision? There are a lot of social programs, but they usually only identify with a few people. This helps everybody, not just one particular group. Everybody wants to laugh. Everybody wants to cry. Everybody wants to come in and have a good time. They work hard 5 or 6 days a week. Some of them have 2 jobs, and some of them need to get away from that. A theater helps them do that. Social programs don't always supply jobs. We need jobs in our communities, and that is what a theater provides. They also give our young people hope that they can dream about being a person, that it can actually happen because they see me being a business person, being from the neighborhood, just like them, having the same problems growing up that they do. Like you, your theaters have become so much part of people's lives that they've already earned a nickname. I hear they're calling magic, called the magic. What is your secret for creating that kind of connection? In everything I do, I want to make sure people see it like it's theirs. That's that is what happened. They've embraced the theaters, they've embraced Starbucks and everything. It's there. They have a piece of it and they feel good about that. See, when you go to my theaters, it's not like going to any other theater. The energy is high. Everything is moving fast. The lobbies, the people are talking, laughing, high-fiving. It's a lot of fun. A Los Angeles economist has called you a pioneer in that Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Theater has opened the door for economic potential in the surrounding area. What is your intent from the beginning? To spark revitalization for the community itself. No question about it. I knew that once everybody saw it could work, it would spark other companies to move in there. And that's exactly what has happened. We've already added 3 more screens and takes us up to 15. They've embraced the Starbucks coffee. You can't even get in the door from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. There are lines all day long. I'm really happy because it's more about than just business. So it's revolutionary, not just on the business realm, but on the social realm. Yeah, for sure. That's what I was telling you, that some social programs just identify with certain people, but this identifies with all people. Whatever your gateway is, you want to cry, you want to laugh, you want to see some shoot 'em up movies. You can do that at a theater. That is often why people go to movies. They want to get away from reality. You think so? Yeah, 'cause I do. Heartedly laughs. With your theaters, you've created roughly 100 permanent jobs and building them, offered approximately 850 construction jobs in each city where you've opened a theater, but your venture has not been without criticism. Sales in some of these stores in Baldwin Hills and Crenshaw Plaza have fallen, and three stores have closed since your theaters opened. And now some of the small business owners say your theater draws a younger crowd that doesn't spend a lot of money and tends to scare off older, more affluent shoppers. One entrepreneur who recently closed his restaurant there spent 3 weeks crafting an angry letter to you. Another entrepreneur said Magic has never had to deal with these kinds of situations that your smaller African American owned businesses have to deal with. How do you respond to that? One moment. It's not my job to market their stores for them. They're supposed to do that themselves. There are close to 1.5 million people going through our doors every year. Now that now what they do with the 1.5 million people is up to them. People have to get out and ask themselves, if I put a store here, will it be viable? Will it be the right thing for the community? Obviously, the community said these weren't the right stores. You can't blame that on Magic Johnson. Business is business, and those businesses were doing badly before I got there. Before I got there, the mall was 49% occupied. Now it's running about 80% to 85%. So that theater has helped, no question about it. I can't help those small business owners. I'd like to, but I can't. There's nothing I can do. I can't make those 1.5 million people to go into the mall. What the community is saying, the mall has to bring in the stores they like. If I had built a second rate theater, those people wouldn't be there. So you have to give the African Americans some credit because they're going to spend their money just like you're going to spend yours, and they have the right to do that. So it's not all about me. So you directly ask the people in community what they want. I already know because I go to church down there. I get my hair cut there, so I hear everybody talking. How does your new talk show fit into your new strategy? It's the same thing, bringing quality entertainment to people at home and making them feel good before they go to sleep. You mentioned making them feel good. Is that a common thread among all these businesses? I'm in the feel good business. If I can't make people feel good with a business, most of the time I don't do it. And that's why I'm happy about the talk show because it will make people happy. Is that something I've always wanted to do? In your first season with the Lakers, the team clinched the NBA title, and you were named MVP of that series. But in the second season, you were injured and missed 45 games. Some of your teammates started to question your fast break style, and in the second game of 3, you shot a air ball, taking your team out of the first round in the playoffs. With that sort of experience, does it what it does to your emotionality? Are you ever afraid of sudden slump in your business? No, even that situation helped me to grow, to be a better player. So I don't worry about that. If you do what you're supposed to, people will come. You hope. And we do everything possible to keep our customers happy and keep them company through the doors. It is the same thing with my TV show. If I'm funny, if the show has the right guests, then I do what I'm supposed to do as the host. Viewers will stay tuned. If not, they'll be turned off. They will turn it off. With businesses, you go to the same place because you like the service. You like the people and they take care of you. They greet you with a smile. That's how people want to be treated, with respect. That's what I tell my employees. Customer service is very important. The mural in your Crenshaw Theater traces your career from your days at Michigan State to the Lakers and now as an entrepreneur. When did you first want to be an entrepreneur? Ever since I was in high school. So, do you believe businesses come naturally to you? It comes naturally because I'm a workaholic. Was the transition from basketball to business easy? It was easier for me because I've always studied business. Even when I was a ball player, I'd read business journals and the business sections of newspapers, or I'd study what people like as well as my own preference. Why do I like this restaurant? What makes it the highest grossing restaurant? And then I talked to entrepreneurs who are already doing very well. That why it came naturally. I'm a natural talker and I love to ask a lot of questions because I'm nosy. Haha. So do you think entrepreneurship is tougher in some ways than basketball was? Oh, yes, I've been playing basketball since I was 7 or 8 years old. I can still just get out there and play, like I did this morning. But business, you have to get into the numbers, the research, and asking people what their needs and wants are. Picking the right locations. There's a lot that goes into business. It's not just, okay, I want to be a businessman. Boom, go with something and hope they come in. It doesn't work like that. What are the talents you had as a basketball player that worked for you as an entrepreneur? My work ethic for sure, and my preparation. See, I prepared for my games and I prepared for business. How about fulfillment? Is entrepreneurship fulfilling in the same ways as basketball or in different ways? You get you get gratified even more with business because you're touching so many people's lives. I love doing that. Because success seems to be associated with your very name, more is expected of you in all that you do. How do you react to that type of pressure? I love it. I wouldn't want it any other way. It keeps me on my toes. It keeps me sharp. Is there a different type of pressure to get to running a business than playing a basketball game? Yes, but again, it comes naturally. In basketball, under pressure, I wanted to take the big shot, and I think that pressure helps me with this pressure in business. To take the big shot, yeah, I'm used to pressure, and that's why I've done well in business. When I'm under the gun and I've got pressure on me. I don't panic. I look for the right solution and then I go for it. Of course, I'm not in it for the quick hit, I'm in it for the long haul. By your own confession, you're a workaholic. How do you balance the needs of your business and commitment to nonprofit ventures, your celebrity appearances, your talk show, and your family? I take my son to T-ball. I just took him on Saturday. We go to early movies. I read them bedtime stories. I'm still a dad and I still have to be a husband too. I take my wife out to the late movies laugh. But that's what the balance is. I understand when I give them my time to the public, when I give my time to the public, when to give my time just to family, and when to give my time to business. I cut a lot of things out and gave a lot of responsibilities to a lot of other people once I signed to do my show because I want to try to be the best I can be at hosting it. A quote from your advisors say yours is an all out bid to become America's most important African American entrepreneur. Why is this so important to you? Those kids who come to my theaters have to know they have someone they can look up to in the business community. So that's why I want to be the best and the biggest. I also have to show athletes they can be more than just basketball players, football players, and so on. And I have to do it for myself because that's the challenge for me to be the best TV show host I can be, to be the best businessman I can be. It looks to me as a casual observer as though you're building an empire. Is that your ultimate vision? Hey, you better write that I said that. So, that's your vision to build an empire. And what's the next in this empire? Well, we have a few things cooking, so you'll just have to wait. But really, what's next is my TV show. That's my next empire. You've spent most of your adult life in the spotlight. How do you maintain your hunger for success? If you're a competitive person, that stays with you. You don't stop. You always look over your shoulder, and I don't have to look far to see David Letterman and all of them sitting there. Haha. If you had to talk about your long-term dream, how do you characterize it? To be on the air for 10 years, that's about enough. Then I could continue to build, and build until you'll be calling me the next time, saying, okay, I guess you've done it. You were the first to say the empire, and in 5 years, you can say it's come true. It went from dream to reality. That's my goal. I hope I can say that to you in 5 years. Do you think it's tougher to go from success to failure or from failure to success? You'll have to ask somebody else that. I have not failed too many things, so I don't know.